Joining us now is Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and chief medical advisor to President Biden. Dr. Fauci, thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry you have to hear this. I'm sure it's not the first time that you've heard some of these outrageous insults. What is it like to be at the center of what is a concerted campaign to target you as somehow responsible for COVID or federal government overreach or just the face of the looming destruction of America? Why do you think this is happening?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious, Alex. It's purely politically motivated. They're running on that. They're raising campaign money. They pick out a boogeyman who they feel represents the antithesis of what they want. And if you look at what I've been doing, focusing like a laser for almost now 3 years, is to protect the health and the safety of the American public by getting people vaccinating, by having them practice good public health practices. They construe that as somehow or other being an encroachment upon their freedom when we know things like vaccines have already saved millions of lives. And yet when you talk about getting vaccinated and encouraging people to get vaccinated, or when you have a very high level of virus in the community, to encourage people to wear masks, which are well known to protect you from getting infected, they make that a political issue. So nobody likes to see that kind of thing said about you, but I don't pay hardly any attention to that, and I just focus on my job, which is to make sure we ensure the health of the American public. If they want to play political games that almost become ludicrous, they're so preposterous, and I think anybody that pays attention to it, that thinks about it, and gives it some thought, realizes, A, it's politically motivated, and B, it's so ridiculous it is almost ludicrous.
I worry, though, I understand what you're saying, but it seems like the sort of dark forces of racism and anti-Semitism and anti-vax and, arch conservative ideology are folding onto themselves around this COVID issue. I think this past weekend, Beverly Hills Police in California had to look into anti-Semitic flyers that were distributed around Beverly Hills, listing CDC officials who have Jewish last names, saying every single aspect of the COVID agenda is Jewish. That worries me as an American citizen. That worries me as someone who believes in the work that you've been doing and sees it as essential to public health. Does it worry you? And does it concern you that this vitriol has grown and has reached tentacles into other sort of poisonous areas of American politics?
Right. I think you have a very important point there, Alex, that has worried me much, much more so than personal attacks on me. It's the things you brought out there, the complete denial of reality, the normalization of untruths, where there's so much lying going on over there that people accept it as being part of the norm. And I think if anybody looks at history and finds out and examines when you distort reality and keep lying over and over again, after a while you get a lot of people believing it. And that is the beginning, I believe, of the destruction of our democracy. So it's less an attack on me or my Jewish colleagues at the CDC that they're attacking. It's really, in my mind, an affront on our democracy. It's the same mindset that says the president didn't win the election, even though every single examination proved that he did. When they say that January the 6th did not exist and it was a friendly visit to the gift shop at the Capitol, that kind of mentality, to me, is a danger to democracy.